Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of The Next Level. I am your host on this episode, Brian Daniels, and I'm flying solo on this episode. I don't have any of my other co-hosts with me today, and that's fine. But I'm not entirely by myself. I've got my buddy Jeremy Smith here. And Jeremy, we're going to talk with you in just a second about why you're here, what it is you do, and go from there, how we met, and everything else. But before we do that, I want to talk about our sponsor today. It's ExpressVPN. So if you don't know what a VPN is, it's a virtual private network that keeps your information safe. So it protects you from people that potentially want to steal your identity, your social security number, things like that. It also is great for online gaming, makes it for a much smoother experience. It also protects you from getting a distributed denial of service attack, also known as DDoS, while playing games online, because people just if you're good at video games like I am, they kind of want to try to shut you down, and they get mad, and so they want to try to kick you out of your game, which is something that people can do. So if you have a VPN or a virtual private network, you don't have to worry about those things. And if you decide to go ahead and get ExpressVPN, which you totally should, you can actually get 3 months on top of a 12-month plan if you go to expressvpn.com/the next level. You go there right now, you sign up, you get 3 months free on top of a 12-month plan, and it helps us out as well. So we definitely appreciate that. Thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring our podcast. All right, Jeremy, let's get into it, man. Now that the ad break is over, let's get into why you are here. So Jeremy and I met at the Louisville Arcade Expo 2 weeks ago. It doesn't feel like it's already been 2 weeks, does it, man?
Oh, I don't know. We've been so busy here lately that it does and it doesn't all at the same time. I don't know. I don't know where the time has gone, honestly. It's been a whirlwind here, but all good things. So
yeah, we met at Louisville Arcade Expo, and if you don't know what that is, you're watching this video here on YouTube. If you go back a few videos, you'll see that myself and my wife Raven, we went to the Louisville Arcade Expo. This is my 5th year going. That's her 4th year going. And we always try to cover the show. And you can watch a video after you watch this, of course. Don't stop this. Watch that after. But of us walking through the expo. And that's like one of my happy places to go to, Jeremy. I love going there. I've been going there. So this is the 5th time I've been. And I'm a big fan of retro and gaming, but I'm also a big fan of pinball.
yeah,
And that's kind of right up your alley because you work for a company called Flawless Creations and Amusements. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm actually the owner, and we launched. It's been 2 years now, and it's kind of it's morphed over the last 2 years, and it's been crazy. Kind of the journey that we've gone on. We actually, I don't know. People ask me all the time. They're like, "What do you do?" And it's like I have such a hard time answering that, and it's because we have such an umbrella of things that our company actually does now, and it's awesome. So.
Yeah. So tell me how you got started with this business. Like what drove you to want to make a company that, basically helps distribute, pinball machines and the like. Where did this spawn from? Because I'm one of those people, Jeremy, that I like to know where things came from, or like the history, or very, very passionate about talking specifically with business owners, because we've had several here on our show, whether it's been convention owners that I personally know that we've had here to talk about their cons, or we've talked to video game creators or people who have been involved in video games somehow. And I love to hear a good story like this. Now, I don't know, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm not saying you got to have a real big story. I know sometimes that's something that's something that people like kind of get put on the spot, like, oh man, I don't really have a big story. But how did you start this? Like I've never really talked to someone such as yourself before. So tell the folks at home how you got involved, or how you created this whole thing, man.
Tell the journey, right?
Yeah, what's the
So,
dream?
kind of a long story short, like most things, I think a lot of things kind of spawn in development out of necessity, um, more than anything. And I don't know if you're kind of put in a spot where you kind of have to do something.
Mhm.
Some good things really do come out of that. And so a
Yep.
little bit about my story. Growing like my background, growing up, loved loved gaming. My first system was an NES,
Yeah.
and I had about every system from that point.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right. Right.
yeah, just everything like Game Boy, Virtual Boy, like yeah, Virtual Boy. I said that. I had that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I had one of those too, man. It killed my eyes every time I played the game.
yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, like that was my jam growing up. Like
Uh-huh.
loved loved all things gaming. Really some of my I mean that's just like that was my whole childhood basically. Like I'm one of the biggest nerds that you'll ever meet. But anyways, um yeah, so that's my background. Love gaming. My dad actually owned a pinball machine as well, like
Oh,
whenever I was
nice.
young. And that's kind of my first I guess experience with pinball.
Uh-huh.
Like it was broke every time I went to go see him. But like on certain occasions, he would have it up and running, and then the
Yeah.
next time I would go there, it would be broke. But
Right.
I mean, from a young age, really loved gaming. Pinball came along later, but anyways, that's kind of the childhood aspect of it. Loved arcades, loved mini golf, anything kind of in that entertainment business I love. Growing up, once I graduated high school, I was trying to work two jobs and pay
Mhm.
for myself to go to college.
Right.
And I was commuting an hour back and forth through high school. I had great grades, 3.96 GPA.
Mhm.
Uh, and basically, I couldn't keep up whenever I was trying to work two jobs
Yeah.
and go to school full time as well. So I actually got a call from Toyota Motor Manufacturing here in Princeton, Indiana, is where it was.
Okay.
And, that kind of kickstarted everything as far as me being able to save up. Long
Right.
story short, worked there 9 years, went back to school, graduated with a 4.0 in radiologic and imaging sciences.
Mhm.
Before I graduated, they asked me if I wanted to teach, if I had any interest in teaching.
Nice.
So I actually started teaching as an adjunct at the University of Southern Indiana in the X-ray department. Doing
Oh,
that all
that's
the
interesting.
while. Yeah, worked in the cardiac cath lab at the Heart Hospital at Deaconess Gateway while I was doing all this. And then they came and told me that I couldn't continue teaching unless I got a master's degree.
Oh man, of
So
course.
yeah, so I
Wow.
was adjunct for 7 years, got my master's,
That's
got a
I did not
master.
expect you to tell me any of that. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
at all what
So
I expected to hear. But that's great though. Okay.
yeah,
All
so I've got
right.
a
All
master's
right.
in health administration, and I've got full time at
Wow.
USI. And after it switched from me being an adjunct to um, working full time as a instructor,
Yeah.
everything tended to lean towards how many publications have you made so far? Right for this grant proposal, we need you to do some research in this part of the field, and I could
Yeah.
do it. I performed at a high level. My bachelor's and master's degree, 4.0 all the way through. Spoke at
Nice.
my graduation. All these things. I don't use a bit of it now, so it kind of came out of necessity that I created Flawless Creations and Amusements, and kind of drawing back on my childhood, my love for gaming, pinball in particular.
Yeah.
Uh, I knew that I wanted to do something in that industry, that realm of
Mhm.
I guess whatever you want to call it, basically that industry.
Yeah.
And I started powder coating. A lot of people on the forums, a lot of people around here, they were getting their pinball machines powder coated.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was like, this is something I can do. So I started researching, bought me an oven, bought me all the equipment, and experience, man,
Nice.
I can't tell you enough, like how much, just the experience portion of it, a lot of trial and error, things of that nature. And
Yeah, for sure.
that's how Flawless Creations was born.
Mhm.
Uh, probably 4 months after that, I reached out to a local business owner here in Evansville, and he owns Dante's Island Pizza here in Evansville.
Okay.
And I just kind of reached out to him on Facebook. I don't know, I loved arcades as a kid. This pizza place, he opened it about a year after it closed. Previously to that, it was Highland Pizza. It
Okay.
closed. It had a little bit of gaming type stuff in it.
Sure.
We were driving by it one day, and
Yeah.
it was closed. My kids like literally started crying in the car whenever we drove
Oh
by because it was
no, dude.
closed. So no pizza place, no arcade there.
Right. Yeah.
Fast forward about a year, and this is about that 4 month period of Flawless Creations. I reached out to the new owner, and I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Do you have any interest in having a pinball machine there?" And he goes, "I have been trying to find somebody for a long time to put machines into my businesses."
Yeah.
And it just kind of the stars aligned, and we started with one pinball machine. Um, that partnership went well, and at one point we had 10 pinball machines in there, some claw machines, a big buck hunter, um,
Nice.
Injustice, card-based fighting game.
Yeah.
And so the second leg of Flawless kind of got started that way. I'm a route operator as well, so I operate claw machines and arcade machines and pinball machines. Um, so today I have 4 total locations now.
Mhm.
The pizza place is still that's home. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And and anyways, he's been such a great partner, Dante. We talked and bounced ideas off each other.
Yeah.
He wanted to basically add a dessert, and this is all probably stuff that probably doesn't even pertain to what you wanted to ask me.
No, it's
But
all it's all good. I love to hear it.
this is the story. So
No, it's the story. That's all that
uh,
matters. Yeah.
we talked about putting desserts in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we kind of came up with, hey, why don't we try ice cream in here? We tried some, I don't even remember what the brand was at first that we tried,
Uh,
but we tried it on a small scale. We were serving it for a little bit. It was a partnership between myself and Dante. We went
right.
and had this on everything. And a little bit later, um, it was probably, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks after we were serving this kind of crappy ice cream, that these people came in and they were like, have you ever had Bliss Artisan ice cream? And anyways, we hadn't. We went and basically met with Bliss Artisan, the owners of Bliss Artisan,
Yeah.
and and we jumped on board with their product. And this started the ice cream there. I'm also an owner for a ice cream trailer, and
Nice, man.
this is coming
Nice.
back. This is coming
Okay.
back to Flawless too, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
So my ice cream trailer, it spawned from those conversations. Um, in launching that, I needed decals, right? So very, very hard. I don't know if you've ever, Brian, tried to outsource decal work, vinyl printing, anything like that.
Not yet. No.
It's so tough to like get a response, to get stuff done in a timely manner. And at that point, I was just like, you know what, screw it. Flawless Creations is actually going to start printing. So I bought a Roland BN20A, started
Nice.
doing vinyl prints,
That's what's up,
bought
man.
myself a
Good stuff.
sublimation printer,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I make all my promo material. I make vinyl decals for everything that I'm associated with,
Probably
and
cheaper for you that way too.
it
In
is,
the
it
long run.
is,
Yeah. It's
it
gotta
is,
be. It's
it
gotta
is.
be. Yeah.
I love doing it too. It's so fun. There's a huge learning curve,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that's another leg of Flawless. the pinball distribution and everything, it spawned from being a route operator also. So whenever I put a machine in a place, they're anywhere from $7,000 to $11,000.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was like, how can we take out the middleman on this?
Uh,
And then I was like, I'm just going to reach out to these companies, see if they need somebody to distribute for them as well.
yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure.
it kind of all like just goes hand in hand with each other. And that's kind of like the cookie cutter story of it, the
Sure.
real quick gist. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's
man.
how everything kind of came along. So
Man, that's a lot to take in for me. Like, so you went, I'm still, my mind is still blown that you did the whole heart stuff too. Like that,
yes,
like I did not expect that. Cause like
yeah,
you didn't even tell me that when we met. So
yeah,
I'm kind of glad you did because this is a great reaction for our show. Like that's very impressive to go like what I love about what I do and what we do is we always try to get people on the show that are, either local because we're in Southern Indiana or, close to Louisville, what have you. And the
yeah,
thing is too, is like when I go to shows, and I tell people this all the time, like when I go to these expos like Arcade Expo, or when I go to, conventions, big or small, I know a lot of people care about the celebrities, which is fine, right?
right.
Or when you're at an arcade expo, the arcade and the pinball or the video games are the stars of the show. That's what people are there for. But me, I'm not really necessarily there for just those things. Like those things are not bad. I am there for people like you who are there trying to not just make money, because let's face it, right? That's what it's about. Is it's your business, it's your livelihood.
Yep,
And a lot of people don't necessarily like talk about that, and I get it. But at the same time, you're there to connect with people and to network with people and to make those important connections because you never know where those are going to lead to, right? So,
sure.
like for me, that's what it is too when going to these shows. So, like, I look forward to meeting people who, wherever they come from, within our realm of what we cover, of course, here, and hearing I've heard stories from people who they were a chef and then they started making like art at cons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Whoa, like you did this job that people would think that's the job, like not what you're doing now, like what do you do, why did and you really did kind of go from like one extreme to the other where you were teaching and you were working in the cardiac unit and all this and that I did not did not
yeah.
anticipate that at
It,
all.
it's pretty crazy. And like some of
That's
the stuff that
amazing.
some of the stuff that I got into was the electrophysiology part of the lab. And we
That's
would
amazing.
like, yeah, I was responsible for, basically catheters would get placed up in the heart
Yeah.
and they would go into different locations and we would
Yeah.
actually use a stimulator and try to put the patient's heart in a abnormal rhythm to diagnose, that they've got
Yeah,
whatever.
man.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely insane. So a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility, but
Man, that's
yeah,
wild. I never imagined that from you, man. That's great.
yeah.
Like how long has it been since you've done that?
Let's see. Um, I left USI 3 years ago,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
somewhere in that neighborhood, and
Yeah.
it was shortly before that, whenever I was going through my master's and working in the cath lab. But yeah, it was a trip, man. Like
Is
I
it
saw so much stuff.
Oh, I bet. Is it a part of you that you miss doing? Do you miss it in any way?
Uh, I miss the teaching.
Yeah.
I really, that's something that I never would have considered doing. But I
Yeah.
was asked to do it. And at the time, like jobs were really sparse and it was a great opportunity. I just kind of took it and ran with it. And the 7 years that I was an adjunct, I absolutely loved it because I didn't have the responsibilities of writing for grants or research proposals and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. and it seriously went from almost 100% teaching down to about 15% teaching, and that's kind of like where I was leading, by saying that things just kind of spawned out of necessity, because
Yeah.
I was at a point where I was just at, like I said, I was performing at a high level, but I was absolutely miserable. I felt like I was still in school,
Mm,
and it just wasn't a good fit. And
yeah.
I think in the end, looking back on it, I kind of made that journey based off what I thought, other people thought I should do, if that makes
Sure.
any sense whatsoever.
That makes sense. Did you ever imagine when you were doing that at the time that you were knee deep into doing that? Did you ever imagine yourself doing what you do now?
No, man, no,
yeah, right. I that's just
it's crazy.
wow.
Like, yeah,
That's a wild change from one thing to another. That's almost an extreme opposite.
yeah,
You didn't. I would say. I bet you could never have imagined.
no,
Yeah,
and I
imagine.
don't know. Like, the older I get, the more I kind of go along with the notion that things just kind of happen the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah,
And like, I was one of those people that always said that, but the older I get, like, I firmly believe that there's something kind of greater than us, that kind of puts us on a path, and
sure.
sometimes we just have to say yes and go for it.
Mhm. Yeah,
And yeah, I'm the happiest I've ever been, like, in my
that's good,
whole
man.
life. So
That's good.
it's great.
So you work with American Pinball, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the pinball stuff. So like
Yeah.
you were at Arcade Expo, you had some pinball machines you were showing off there. There was the Valhalla game, you had an Oktoberfest game, and then you had Hot Wheels. I
Yep.
don't remember the full names. It's been a crazy few weeks,
Yeah.
but you guys have been working with American. How did that whole partnership come up, and like what was that like? Like how did
Sure.
that get started?
So, this was one of the last companies that I've picked up as far as being a distributor for. I
Yeah,
also distribute for Coastal Amusements, Pipeline Games, Raw Thrills, Haggis Pinball, and American Pinball. They're not a Stern. Stern puts
yeah,
out 400 machines a week. American does put out games consistently, but it's not to that number.
sure.
Um, but they are kind of, they're known for their quality.
Yeah, great machines.
Yeah, whenever I was working at Toyota, that's something that kind of got ingrained in me, was quality, and
Oh,
uh,
absolutely.
kind of
Yeah.
attention to detail and that sort of thing. So American was one of those companies that I kind of wanted to put myself with, and I reached out about a year ago, and at that time they told me that they had a distributor, specifically here in Evansville, Indiana. So I'm not the only American Pinball distributor in Evansville. At the time, they weren't looking for anyone else, and I kind of forgot about it, and kind of put it on the back burner. And it's kind of one of those things that things just happen the way that they're supposed to. I knew I was close. I knew I was like this close to getting that deal, because
Yeah.
I signed an NDA with American a year ago, and I knew I was close, but I forgot about it, put it on the back burner, and I don't know if I can even talk about this, but I'm going to. But
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
But anyways, so a lot of communications in distribution, it has like confidentiality notices and stuff like that.
Mhm. Sure.
um but anyways, I got a Christmas card from American, hadn't heard anything from them like for a year, and
Yeah.
at the bottom of it, it had the confidentiality notice, right? So I knew I was on their email list, I knew I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So I knew I got close, and
Right.
I just didn't realize how close. So after I got that communication there, I reached back out to them, and anyways, I long story short, I made my best pitch, and being at the Louisville Arcade Expo was kind of one of those commitments that I made to American Pinball, that
Yeah.
I'm serious about selling their product. I believe in their product, and I also believe that if they have a distributor, particularly in
Mhm.
Southern Indiana,
Yeah.
uh, they need to be promoting them, kind of the way they deserve to be promoted.
Yeah.
And not to get into semantics or anything like that, but
Sure.
some pinball distributors have multiple companies that they're trying to advertise for and trying to push their product. And I told American that I wanted to be at the forefront. I wanted to be pushing their product, number one in
Yeah.
my product catalog.
Yeah.
And I also told them that, previously they haven't had any representation at the Louisville Arcade Expo. It's sparse
Yeah.
around in our area in general.
Yeah.
And I told them I wanted to be that guy, and then they actually, they deserve to have someone pushing them and being, an advocate for their product. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
because they do have a great product, they
Mhm.
may not have the themes and the IPs that a Stern does,
Of
but
course.
their
Yeah.
games are great, and if they're
Oh,
well built, uh,
definitely.
yeah. So it was a no brainer for me to want to be a partner with them. So um, that's kind of where that originated from. That stemmed from just aligning myself with that high, that high quality product, and me, you want to be a part of the industry and a part of everything too. I want to take their product to Louisville Arcade Expo and
Mhm.
other things. So just to get their name out there, and there's more pinball out there than just Stern. So
That's fantastic. Yeah, and real quick to talk about American Pinball. Yeah, I've played these machines before. I think I've played them at Rec Bar in Louisville. I think they
yeah,
have them there. But to let you guys know what they're actually called, I pulled it up here on your website, by the way.
okay,
You got
nice.
so you got Legends of Valhalla, the Hot Wheels, and you have Oktoberfest Pinball on tap. Those are the three that you had at Arcade Expo. And actually,
Yep.
it's kind of funny because my good friend Paul Niemeyer did all the art for, well, not all the art, but he did the little model for
Yeah,
the Valhalla machine.
that's
So,
awesome.
and I've actually had him on our podcast before too. So that's kind of cool. So
That is cool.
that's awesome. Yeah, I was talking to him about that too. I was like, hey man, it's like everywhere I go, I run into your work, man. I just can't avoid you. I never see him. I always see all his stuff.
You just see his
Not me.
stuff.
I see all his stuff, but not him. But then you've also got Galactic Tank Force and Houdini as well.
Yep.
I'm seeing on your website here too.
Yep.
So I want to
Galactic
ask you,
Tank Force just actually released this past
yeah,
Wednesday. So they
yeah, that
dropped
looks like that's a really cool looking machine.
Yeah. So a
Yeah.
lot of people are really excited about it. Dennis Nordman, he's the one that did the playfield design on uh, Whitewater. I don't know if you're familiar with Whitewater from the
Oh yeah.
90s
Oh
Valley.
yeah. That's like one of my
So
favorite games. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So he's actually the lead designer on the playfield for Galactic Tank Force, and a lot of people are really excited about that. So
That's a cool looking cabinet.
the
I'm
signature,
looking at
the
this
LE,
signature edition with the tank on it. That's pretty sick.
yeah, so there's a video floating around of Texas Pinball Festival. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but
No, not yet.
they actually drive that thing in there. Like they don't
Oh,
wheel
that's
it in or anything like that. They actually
okay.
drive that tank in there. So
Okay,
it,
that's really cool.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome, man. So I want to ask you because, as I said before, I'm always, I always want to know how things work, right? And
true.
I know there's some things like you can't talk about specifics of contracts and things like that. But I am curious because you're the first person I've ever talked to about distribution and things like that. So I'm curious, like, do you and if you don't feel comfortable answering these questions, please let me know. It's not a big deal.
Sure. I'll answer what I can.
Um, when it comes to the distribution, do you do you buy the cabinets yourself, or do they work with you on like a special deal as a distributor? I don't need like numbers. You don't have to give me numbers.
Sure.
I'm not asking for that because I know that's a weird thing to ask anyway. But I'm not gonna ask that. But how does that actually like? How does one get into like that
How
anyway?
does it
Like
work?
what? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've always wondered that. Like
Yeah.
you know.
So basically how it takes place,
Mm-hmm.
my first order, I'm sure I can talk about this, but
Yeah.
my first order, I actually had to front all the capital for it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah. Because
there are,
I know like sometimes like when you're franchising a restaurant, right? They say you have to have this amount of money up front,
yeah,
and then they front you a certain amount. So I didn't know if as a distributor, like you had to have like all of the money or it was like a certain amount. And then they're like, okay, if you meet us like three-fourths of the way, then we'll like get you
Sure.
the rest of the fourth. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think there are some differences across the various companies.
Oh, I'm sure there are. Yeah.
I think Stern, which I'm this is just hearsay, I guess, but I
Yeah.
think that they actually have a number set that you have to buy so many pros, you have to buy so many premiums to start the partnership.
Like out of
So,
your own pocket, kind of something like
yeah.
that. Okay. Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
there are things that kind of can develop as make a name for yourself, I guess,
As
as a
the
distributor.
business relationship gets better,
Yeah,
basically.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. For sure.
So,
Absolutely.
my first purchase, I purchased all the games up front myself, and
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
whenever I
There
was
you go.
talking earlier about Dante's Highland Pizza, how we had 10 pinball machines at one point,
Yeah.
we don't have 10 pinball machines right now anymore because
Yeah.
I had to sell to basically um, come up with capital to
Sure,
invest.
man. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got started there.
Yeah. For sure, man.
Um, but yeah, my trailer's empty now, which it's not a bad thing. We've
No,
sold a few games, and now we can kind of continue to build, and
of course.
hopefully we just keep riding this thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's things that this like companies will set up with this like their distributors that
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
heard of net, like net 30, net 15, net 7,
I
things of
think
that.
something like that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So you can get set up on those terms.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Okay.
it's a credit based
Yeah.
type of relationship, and
Right.
basically
Right. Yeah.
what net 30 means is that you will pay for your whole order 30 days after picking up your products. So
I
uh,
got you.
and I'm not speaking to any specifics on
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
like what I don't I yeah I'm not talking about my stuff. I'm just talking
No,
about
you're yeah, for sure. We're just speaking in
uh,
general like terms.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, my first purchase, it was all me,
Okay.
and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But that's kind of how it works. They don't supply me with X amount of machines and say,
Yeah.
here you
See,
go,
I
atta
see, I didn't know
boy.
if that was how that worked. Like,
I
because
wish,
I was
man.
gonna say, because I was like, man, that's kind of sick. I mean, because I know, like, I've heard and I've talked to people that do distribution and other things like arcade cabinets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it's like, sometimes you just got to buy everything yourself.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's all you. It's all
yep,
you. It's your
yep.
capital. It's what you've saved up. There are some that have deals with. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's one in particular I know of that has deals like where they have partnerships with certain video game companies,
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, we'll supply you with these two machines, but then you buy this machine yourself, or
right.
you buy these two machines, then you get like this one, and then some are like performance based, which is weird. Like you get the machine without any upfront capital,
Oh, really?
but like there's a performance expectation so many months in.
Gotcha.
It's either like a 6 month, it's a semi-annual or an annual, and if you don't hit the goals, then like your
Uh,
machine goes bye-bye. Like, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So like it's weird how those contracts can work out.
yeah.
And
I'm sure every company's a little different.
everybody does it differently.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
that's my start. I had to
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
my business model with Flawless and kind of reallocate things and basically get that jump started. And
Yeah.
hopefully, one thing just kind of feeds off the other.
Yeah.
Warmer
Yeah.
weather's coming around, so ice cream trailer is going to be going crazy.
Yeah, I saw a picture. You showed me
Yeah.
that picture. That's pretty cool, dude. Like
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. That's what's up,
So
man.
I'm going to wear that
Yeah.
thing out, and that a hand in hand kind of go with everything else, and
Yeah.
just kind of feed off each other, and hopefully just kind of start making a mini empire is what I'm hoping, man.
So your ice cream stuff is separate from your flawless, right? That's
It
like
is.
that's pretty cool, man.
It's a whole nother LLC.
That's
So
cool. So let's talk about what it was like for you at Arcade Expo. So had you done any shows like that before as a brand, as a business?
so I have not done one as a business, as a vendor.
Okay. Oh, nice.
I have attended several, just as a
Sure.
spectator.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a general idea of, how things worked and all that. I just didn't have the stress and the pressure and everything that I did as a business. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I don't. Did you get to play all three of my machines?
Oh, I did. I did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, like you said, we had Hot Wheels,
Yeah.
Oktoberfest, and Legends of Valhalla. Um, it- I think it was Saturday we started having problems with Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest was having some problems Saturday. I know.
Yeah, and American was great. They reached out to me and we tried some things over the phone. I still don't know what's wrong with that machine though. It's in my
Mm.
garage and we're still trying to diagnose it. So um, definitely stressful in that regard.
Oh,
That's like
I
the
mean,
worst possible time.
you're not the only one that has pinball problems.
Yeah,
There's so many other people there
yeah, for
that
sure.
have their machines not working too. I was talking to somebody else I knew that weekend too that had the guy that had the Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
pinball.
Craig.
He's great, by the way. He's been there several years. I've been there too.
Yeah,
And I love his
yeah,
machine, but
I
he
know.
has a new one that he couldn't get to work.
Yeah, I spoke to Craig at the beginning of Expo, and I never got a chance to see Steamboat Willie like before that actual
Yeah,
show. Did you
yeah.
see the topper on that thing? The topper
The
actually.
topper of the yeah, he had the steam like at the
Yes,
top.
yes.
That was awesome, man. I love that.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was
that.
fantastic. But yeah,
Yeah.
Expo was great, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wondered how that went for you. So when you're at the expo, are you because for now this is a side of the expo I don't really talk about and get into. But for a lot of people that don't know, is Arcade Expo, yes, people are there to buy a badge and play video games and pinball machines all weekend long. But the other side of the coin is those pinball machines are mostly all for sale.
Yeah,
So it's like a trade show within an expo where people can if you don't want to buy a pinball machine, I want to buy a pinball machine. I just can't right now. But the goal is to have one eventually. I want to get a pinball machine. But if you're in the market for a pinball machine,
yeah,
that's
it's
a
another
really
way.
great place to go. And you have tons of different pinball companies like American Pinball. You've got Stern, which is like huge. They're the big people. They're the big players. You'll recognize them
Spooky,
as soon as you walk in.
Spooky was there too.
Spooky was
Pinball
there,
with Scooby Doo.
and then you've got outside of actual pinball manufacturers. You just have people that are just there to try to sell their machine,
Yep.
and you'll see prices on the machines, and you can literally walk home with one of the show pinball machines.
Guilty. Guilty. I did
Oh,
it while
you done
I was
that too?
there. I bought one while I
Oh
was there.
no! What
Yeah.
you bought
So
one while you were there that weekend?
yes,
Which
yes.
one did? Oh my god! Tell me this. Okay, what did you buy? Which one did
Yeah.
you buy? I'll tell you if I played it.
So I'm a route operator, right? So I had a new location tell me that they wanted pinball. So I
Yeah.
at Louisville Arcade Expo saw a really, really nice Last Action Hero. I don't know if you saw it,
Oh,
got
that was a nice one.
bought
Yeah.
it, bought it.
You
Yeah,
bought that one?
bought
Oh
it.
my god,
So
dude. That's great.
yeah, so if you're ever in Evansville, Indiana, Plaid and Timber axe throwing down in the east side of
That's your
Evansville,
machine?
you can play Last Action Hero and you can play your favorite game, Legends of Valhalla, down there also. So
Oh, that's what's up,
yeah,
man. Yeah, I was gonna say because you're in the market for machines too for your
that's
business.
right.
You're always
That's
looking.
right.
So that's kind
So
of
it just like
yeah.
I said, everything
It
just
goes
kind of
both ways.
it all goes together. It's
You're
great.
looking for business and you're looking for things to supplement your business. It's
That's
just a
right.
great thing. And that's what's really great about that expo is I don't do really a whole lot of video game stuff. Like that's why I love that place so much because it's the only one I go to the entire year. And I know there's
Yeah.
like tons in Illinois that I want to try to get to. And of course the West Coast is all up and down just full of those kind of shows. But yeah, I mean, there's arcade machines that are for sale too. I
Yep.
know you do arcade cabinets too, right? I know I saw
Yes.
you had you do the Halo Fire Team Raven cabinet, which is great.
Yep.
You know, you do that. Let's talk about the claw games too. I'm a big claw game guy.
Are you?
And what's really funny, I'm a sucker for a good claw machine.
Yep.
And I've probably been a sucker playing the claw games.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. No, but you know what it is. It's a business. But what's crazy about the claw game industry is, this is something I am a little familiar with, is do you realize how many claw YouTube channels are on this platform? Like, I'm not even kidding. There are tons. It's so weird. That's the interesting side of YouTube, is you can literally look for anything. There are people on this platform, because this video is on YouTube right now, you're watching,
Yeah.
that have channels, whether it's this channel called Claw Craziness. They do that guy he's an owner, and he has all these, like, he does this like digital claw machines. Have you seen those where people
I've heard about
on
them.
your phone, you can go on your phone and you
Yeah.
can literally like download an app and play a claw game. I've done it and I've won something before too. I have, like, there's something in this
Do
room
they mail it to you? Is that how
and
that
they ship
works?
it. So I played one. There's a real popular one. I'm trying to think of the real popular. What is the real popular claw? I think it's like Claw Do or something like that. What is it? Claw E. That's the one. And it's an app that you can download. Not sponsored, by the way. They're getting free advertising here. But it's one of those apps, and you download it, and you get coins, and you pick like the prize. It'll show you what the prize is in the machine, and so you pick the prize. You pick whatever prize you want to go for, and then it takes you
Yeah.
to a machine. I'm not even joking. And then
It's like a camera, isn't it? Like
it's a
inside a
camera.
real
Yeah, it's a
machine.
camera that's like stands in front,
Yeah.
and you just, on your phone, you have, I don't know how well you can see this or not on my phone. Can you see that?
Yeah.
See how
So,
people are playing the machine like that? Yeah, like, you can play that on your phone. And so I was like, I'm gonna try it, because they do this thing where it's like free. You get
yeah.
like a free thing, and they give you like 10 coins. So I think I played for like a Pokemon thing, or no, it was Sonic. It was Sonic, and I
You
won.
got it. You got it.
And I won it, and they shipped it from Hong Kong. They probably paid more in shipping than I did to play that game.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah. I
insane.
could imagine. Like as a distributor,
But there are people on YouTube that have those machines that are in
that's
America.
crazy. Yeah,
That's wild.
none of mine are that fancy. I don't have a camera hooked up to any of mine or anything like that. So
You're not
the
running like one in your basement, like a secret, like,
that would be good though. I don't
that'd
know
be
if that's
cool though, because you don't have to
I don't know.
travel. It's just all right there in your house.
Yeah. No, the most
Yeah.
high tech thing that I've got on mine, Pipeline is another company that I distribute for, and they've got what they call Cloud Meter. I don't know if
Okay.
you've heard of that or not, but I
Oh,
can
what is that?
actually see input and output on my machines, so it'll tell me how many plays,
Like
and
on
then
your phone?
yeah, it's an app.
Oh, that's
And
cool. Okay.
yeah, so that helps from an operator standpoint, to
Nice.
be able to know if I need to go restock something or empty out a coin box or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very helpful. Great product. I love
That's
Pipeline.
interesting, man. If someone was to get into what you do, what would you think would be the we'll go with the cheapest and easiest route
The
to take?
cheapest. Man, there's nothing cheap in this industry at
I
all.
know.
Like,
I know.
it's so ridiculous. My thing is, I would tell people to probably stay away from pinball. The
Oh,
pinball
wow.
routing is actually, it's more of a passion project, man. Like
For sure.
I love pinball, and
Yeah.
we were running upwards of 10 machines, like I was saying, and I actually ran tournaments and stuff every Sunday, and it
Nice.
was just a passion project. But
Yeah.
there's so much maintenance and upkeep on pinball.
That's the thing. Yeah, man.
The
Those
initial
little
cost
those
of,
tiny little parts are so expensive, and
yeah,
I know a few people that own machines,
yeah,
and it's like, even the flippers can be expensive. Like,
yeah,
it's like, you think you're getting a pinball machine, and it's like, no, you're getting like a project. Like, you're getting,
yeah,
it's like having to maintain a car. You got
yeah,
to
for
go
sure.
find parts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, to get into this, stay away from pinball
Stay away
because
from pinball.
yeah, because unless you're just, you know, absolutely passionate about it like me and just
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it, it's so expensive. Like a machine costs 7, 8, 9, 10, $11,000,
absolutely. Yeah,
and your return, it's not as good as say a claw machine. Claw machines are absolutely ridiculous as far as return.
that's what I've heard. Yeah,
So yeah, you could get used equipment you know, whenever you can. Obviously, whenever you're not buying new, you have no idea what you're buying. You could get something good, could get something bad.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, you can pick up used claws for, you know, anywhere from 800 to 1,200 bucks, and
that's not bad.
it's not terrible. And if you have a good location, that thing will pay for itself pretty quickly. So
I bet.
uh,
Yeah.
redemption games, that's where a good portion of revenue will come from.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that would be where I would say to get started.
You got to start in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because once you kind of get it going and it becomes self-sustaining, um,
How?
my, you'll laugh at this. Like, um, I don't know. I just keep reinvesting into my business,
Yeah.
and like I don't know that I've paid myself ever. I don't think I have, and it just keeps rolling back into
Yeah.
the equation. And
Yeah, for sure.
my wife's about to kill me, I think, but she's ready to start seeing some return. But
That's funny, man. Do you? So, what's it like when you buy? It's like, say, I buy a claw machine,
yeah,
right? It's kind of walk me through it. How do I find a place to put my machine? How does that work? Like, how does it? Do you buy the machine first, or do you find the place for it first? What do you do first? Do you get the
what do
machine,
I do?
or do you find a place to put the machine?
I would recommend finding a place. That way you're just not stuck with something that you're not going to be able to use unless it's something that you know you would want for your game room. That's kind of my fallback on
Sure.
everything. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, if this falls through and this location shuts down, is this a stuff that I would want to have in my basement? Are
My
these
basement.
pinball machines are they some of my favorites, or are they
Yeah.
stuff that I have no interest in? So
Right. Yeah.
I kind of feed everything into that.
Okay.
Uh, but no, I would definitely find a location first. Um, Also check with local governance and make sure that, you know, you don't have to have any kind of special permitting or anything like that to be able to run it.
Special
That's
permitting? You have to have special permitting for a claw machine?
yeah. Some places
No
you do.
way.
Some places you do for any
That's
kind of
wild. I didn't. Is
yeah.
it
So
considered gambling, or is it like some sort of gaming codes or?
a lot of the gaming commissions, you have to get things cleared and authorized. Like
That's wow.
Illinois is a big stickler about it. Like they make you have a little decal on every machine that you have, and you have to pay for each sticker. And I don't
That
know the
says
ins
it's
and
approved
outs.
by the gaming commission.
Yeah, yeah.
The claw
So
machine.
I know.
That is wild, man.
But yeah, definitely check on that stuff. Like
Interesting.
if you have any interest in operating any kind of equipment,
Yeah.
because it's a revenue
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
revenue generating business. So you
Yeah.
have to watch that stuff too.
When
So
it comes to placing a machine, so say I've got the machine first and I don't know where to put it. Do you recommend people just kind of like, you know where you frequent, the places you go?
yep,
Do you just say, hey, like, you guys don't have this
yeah,
machine? I think it'd be great if we put one up by your doors to get some good traffic through.
yeah.
And
So
then like I'm assuming you make a contract with them and like splitting
yeah,
the revenue in some way, right? I'm sure that's
yeah.
kind of how that goes.
That's all stuff that you'll want to you know, put in place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if it's a place that I go to, the whole thing is a sales pitch, man. Like in
Yeah,
general,
absolutely. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
a sales pitch, and
Yeah.
you can pitch it, and you know, like, hey, you've got this going on over here. Um, you know, you sell beer, you sell alcohol. A
Uh-huh.
pinball machine would really keep people in here a little bit longer and probably
Yeah.
generate more sales for you.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what you're wanting to put in there, and their offerings, and kind of what their business model looks like. So you just kind of cater everything to their business model and help them see the potential value in adding
Nice.
and adding stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I tend to pick places that are I guess in close proximity. I don't want a pinball machine an hour away from here, and I don't want to
Oh,
be called all the
yeah.
time that, hey, you got a ball stuck in Hot Wheels and you're gonna have to drive to Louisville. And I'm like, no, don't put yourself in a position for something like that.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
yeah,
I can
so
think
you
of
just kind of have to know your product, know your market,
yeah.
know the potential clientele, and kind of that's what it's all about, is making or helping the company or business see the value that they can add, or the experience that they can add to
For
their,
sure.
their place for their customer.
How
So
how familiar were you with the inner workings of a pinball machine before you got into doing stuff with pinball? Like how familiar were you with like the operation of a pinball machine outside of playing one, of course?
um not very. A lot of the stuff I've learned as I go.
Yeah, I feel
um
that. I agree.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like another thing that Flawless was based on, in the beginning, I built MAME cabinets like from the ground
Oh,
up.
nice. Okay.
Yeah, so that was one of the
That
offerings
that's
that
pretty
I
cool.
don't. Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Besides for like certain people, if somebody asks me, I'll still do one, but I don't
Sure.
advertise it or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
actually take it from full sheets of MDF, and I cut out everything. I've got my own proprietary
Oh, that's
uh,
cool.
design, and that sort of thing. So I don't know, man. Like my wife, like she knows now, like if I had put my mind to something, I just do it. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
people that I ask my wife, they're like, how the hell does he know how to do that? How does he know how to build an arcade machine? Like everything that I've ever done,
Yeah.
it's me like putting my head down and just going at it. And I'm one of these people that I will lose sleep over something not working. Like I will drive myself crazy until
Oh man.
I absolutely find out what the issue is.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense to me, I guess.
Mhm.
Like, if it's an electrical issue, or if it's a mechanical issue, or if one's causing the other, basically like tracing everything back.
Yeah.
Um, that's how I've learned everything, and it just takes time, man. That's the big thing. It just takes time, and just a willingness to want to get into that type of thing, because I don't know, building stuff from scratch and working with my hands. It's something I've always done. So,
Yeah.
uh, so I just get after it. That's that's the best way I can put it.
Right on, man. Well, we appreciate you, Jeremy, for taking the time to be on our show and
Yeah, definitely.
talking about your business. And I will have links to Flawless down here. So if you guys, need someone to maybe you're where Jeremy's at over there in Evansville, or close by, and you're interested in their machines, or anything else for that matter.
And we
Um,
ship too. We ship all over the US.
there you
So
go. So there you go. You get some machines from them there too. And if you're out and you happen to play these machines, let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts on Arcade Expo down in the comments below. And like I said, I'll leave a link down there to Jeremy's business, Flawless Creations and Amusements. You guys can go check out their website. I encourage you guys to do that. He's got tons of machines on there. You guys can look at and see what he distributes there. And we do want to thank all of you guys for watching this episode of The Next Level here on YouTube. Or if for whatever reason you're not watching this video, which you should be, and you're listening to us, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the other places you can listen to us here, like iHeartRadio and such. We appreciate you for listening to us as well. And until the next time, we'll see you guys. Thanks, Jeremy. You guys have a good night. Take it easy,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Later.